What's going on, guys? Nandemo guy. I was recently tagged by the AndySan to do the Japan tag game, which was actually started some time back by emilylouisemaitland. Go ahead and check out her channel if you haven't. But yeah, there's a few questions here that don't necessarily apply to me, but I'll answer them as best I can. I've got them sort of down off the screen here. So question number one is, why did you move to Japan? Well, I haven't moved to Japan. I've been to Japan quite a few times. My wife's Japanese and I have two daughters that are half, as they say. So if I were to move to Japan, which I hope to do at some point, it would be mainly because I want my daughters to experience living in Japan and Japanese life as much as possible, with them being more Japanese than any other nationality, I guess. Then I think it's very important for them. So second question, what is my favorite Japanese food and why? This is a tough one. I think it kind of changes from day to day for everybody, but one of my favorite is tonkatsu. It's just really, really good. A breaded and fried pork cutlet on rice. It's just something that's extremely tasty to me, and I can eat that just about whenever. So question number three, where is your favorite place in Japan and why? I think currently my favorite place is probably Nikko that I've been to. Just the way it makes it feel like that you've gotten away from everything and you're experiencing the old Japan is just something that really appealed to me. There's a few places that I think I will probably enjoy better once I've actually gotten there, but there's a question farther down, we'll get back to that. Question number four, my favorite Japanese word or kanji and why? Well, that's a good one. It'd be better if you asked me what was my least favorite, but maybe some other time. Favorite word and why? It's probably height right now, and that seems weird unless you're the father of children that speak Japanese. Getting them to agree to certain things is probably my favorite thing right now. So very, very simple, but it means a lot. What is my favorite thing about Japanese culture and why? My favorite thing about Japanese culture is, and I haven't been all over the world, but I like how you've got like a perfect combination of old Japan and new Japan existing at the same time in the same place. If anyone who hasn't been there, you'll notice that right away, especially if you're in the big cities, Tokyo or any of the others. You're just walking around and there's an old temple, or there's just going to be a little shrine sitting out. Very, very cool. Now what is one thing that surprised me during my time in Japan? One thing that surprises me about Japan is the way you can get away with just about anything. And I'm not speaking just foreigners, but in general, Japan is not very judging, even of its own people, maybe outside of work, but people with their styles and some of the interesting combinations of clothes you'll see people wearing. It's just like a normal thing for everybody out there. So I think that's one thing that kind of surprises me. Have I picked up on any Japanese habits? I can say yes and no. Being married to a Japanese gal, I think that I pick up more because of that, taking off our shoes at the house here in the States and whatnot. But also just some of the simple reactions, like if I bash my hand on something or if I hit myself with a hammer or something when I'm working, I'll usually say itai or something like that. It just comes to second nature. What is the next place I want to travel to Japan and why? This kind of goes back to my favorite place. I really, really have two places on my list right now that I want to go see. One is nicknamed Gunkanjima. It's an island that's completely deserted. And another is also an island. It's called Yakushima. And it's very, very untouched, giant trees, dense forest, things like that. I want to check out both of these places. If I could start life in Japan again, is there anything I would do differently? I would have talked to my father-in-law more. It's one of those things, hindsight is 20/20. I'd spent some time with him, but in my opinion, not enough before he passed. So if I knew now what I knew then, I would have spent more time and talked with my father-in-law even more before he passed. And the best single piece of advice I have for first-timers to Japan. If you're socially awkward, just get over that and get out and just talk to people. Obviously, you know a little bit of Japanese, but experience real day-to-day Japan. And don't be afraid to get out there and adventure and find new things. Don't just do the typical visitor or gaijin destinations. It's all the extra stuff and the everyday stuff, at least for me, that is the most fascinating about Japan. So those are my suggestions. I've got a few people I can tag here. If you've been tagged already, or if you've even done one of these videos, I apologize, but there's a gal named Blank Dino, my friend Captain Jasblog, a buddy Distal, Mikey Chen, and Rhyming Gaijin. So if you guys actually see this video, go ahead and put it up. I will put the link to the Japan tag list, or Emily's initial video, so you can see all the questions yourself. Well, there you go, guys. Nandemo guy, Japan tag.